let me get to the end of this paragraph at least.
Okay, we won't say a word.
Okay, strictly speaking, the God image does not coincide with the unconscious as such, but with this special content of it, namely the archetype of the self. Okay, so what Jung is saying there, I think, is that the unconscious is bigger than the God image. The God image is an archetype, one of the archetypes, but it isn't all. It's not everything. Okay, and I have to make this point to John. John, I have one more point you have to hear, and then we'll be at the end of the paragraph that you wanted in English. Okay.
I hope I can keep this absorbed.
Well, I mean, you don't have to keep it absorbed. There's no help. I can tell you there's no help. If you're going to study Jungian psychology, I can tell you there is no help. You know, you can read these things 50 times.
Well, the parts, what gets me are the parts and the diagrams of what this stuff is, how it's supposed to, how it's conceived, and that's.
And he
never
did.
Got any, I never got an introduction to that.
He didn't want that. Okay, he never made a formal structure to it because he didn't want there to be a structure.
There was a diagram.
Well, there are diagrams by various J's that were around him. He wasn't one of them.
Never made any diagrams?
No. Well, he did do one diagram, which is, it may be this mandala, okay, which is, yeah, I mean, he did make a bunch of mandalas, and they're in the red book, in the big book.
And he made images.
Right, and some of those, yeah.
But they're also, they are understandings. I mean,
They're his cut on it.
It's like my picture. It's a picture of our marriage. And when I show it to you and you start asking, I can point things out and you'll begin to see relationships and so forth. And you could do that with his images too.
Right. And so we all can do images of our own life. And so he was trying to make a generic image that all of us could relate to. Okay. So he's saying, okay, here's a mandala. Okay. I don't know anything about what your mandala will look like, but this is what mine looks like. Okay. And he's saying that every human culture has mandalas. And now we know that pufferfish have them too. So, okay, so let me get this last point then. Strictly speaking, the God image does not coincide with the unconscious as such, but with this special content of it, namely the archetype of the self. Okay, so what he's saying is that the God image is the same as the archetype of the self in the unconscious, okay? They're equal. God image equals self, okay? He's not saying God image equals metaphysical God. He's saying that you can't tell the difference. Okay, that's what this paragraph says. You can't tell the difference between a metaphysical God and this God image because both are perceived by the psyche.
What characteristics does he ascribe to the self?
Big self or little self?
Wholeness.
Which is a female quality, a feminine quality, right?
Yeah, I guess. Right. Yeah.
It's a container of sorts.
It's a container. How are you contained? And, you know, so what is your God? Everyone needs some container, and that's what Edinger was saying. Okay, it's like I keep having this discussion I won't call it an argument with Debbie about what the meaning of America is. Okay, America, all right, America is a psychic container for all of us. Okay, we're all American, and so it is a psychic container. Now, if you ask any American what is the meaning of America to you, everybody comes up with a different answer, right? Everyone would. Okay, but so would every German. Okay, come up with a different answer for Germany, and they perceive that their psychic container is Germany. I'm a German. I live in Germany. Here's where I'm going to build my house. I mean, there's even an old saying like that in German.
They have fatherland. Russians have motherland.
Right. I live in Germany. I'm a German man. Here I will build my house. Something like that. Okay. Well.
Boy, did they build them too.
Right.
They build them to last.
Right. Okay. So, what is it that makes America America? Okay. I've thought about this a lot in the last 17 years. I started in 2000, starting to ask people this question. What is the one thing above all other factors that makes America unique in the world? Okay. And it's a stump the stars question. Nobody has an answer. Okay. But, okay. Everybody goes, okay. Okay. But
I got an answer from a New Zealander.
Okay, which is what?
She said what she liked about America was that people thought they could actually do things, and they went out and did it. That in New Zealand, people were just sort of like, well, let's see what's going to happen. In America, she said you could just decide to do something and go do it. And Americans did that. She just thought that was incredible.
Yeah.
That's what Jung said, wasn't it? About, or someone in Zurich, at the Zurich Institute said, the thing that struck him about Americans was, what are you doing over here? You don't even know what you're doing, and yet you're trying to understand. Remember that quote?
Vaguely.
They came in to learn at the Institute, and
Right.
they were just completely oblivious to what it was all about. And,
What-
and he said,
what-
well, we Swiss, we would stay here and think about that for 10 or 15 years, and then before we would do it. But you Americans,
Boots on the ground.
you just come over and you just do it, and we admire that. Or I admire that.
Right.
I don't remember what that quote was.
Until the elbows come up.
Well, but it's our permission to be ourselves. Okay, and partially. I mean,
The biggest thing over there was fear of tall poppies. If you were a tall poppy, you were.
A poppy?
That was the same thing. You're
Yeah.
too big for your britches.
right.
You were,
You're saying New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right.
England, I think, uses the same expression.
Right, and in Japan they say beware of being the protruding nail. Right? If you're the protruding nail, you're going to get hammered down, right?
Or you're gonna hook someone.
Yeah.
Right? And in America, we just say,
Yeah, I know. Protrude further, protrude further.
Test the boundaries.
We're obnoxious.
We are.
And yet we have some of the most severe restraints on that as a paradox in our
Depends on where
culture.
you are.
than any
well,
other
there are
Exactly.
there are paradoxes in every culture, right? But
I mean, the FBI director covering up the new classical statues. Are you kidding me?
So he doesn't get dirt on.
Or, well, you're going to have the war on drugs again. Why not?
right, okay.
Oh, I hope not.
So anyway, are you
Idiots.
satisfied that we covered your question, which was a fair question because
I appreciate it.
we spent a whole evening on your answer now, which is one paragraph
What's
of
the answer to Job or John?
Answer to John.
answer to John.